It's time for the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. It's time for The Game on ESPN 1400. For the next 2 hours, we'll get an in-depth look at local sports in the Eastern Upper Peninsula and Algoma region, and hear from the coaches and players involved in the game. We'll also analyze the college and pro sports scene across the region and dive into the biggest national stories. Now, let's get to the game and join your host, Scott Nason.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to The Game on ESPN 1400. You can also hear our show online at thegamesportshow.com and thegamesportshow.podbean.com. As the man said, my name is Scott Nason, broadcasting from our ESPN 1400 studios in Sault Ste. Marie on this Monday night, January 4th, 2021. The Game, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show, will be with you, up until 8 o'clock, when we will go to Milwaukee for Detroit Pistons basketball. The Pistons set to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. A very happy new year, and hope all our listeners had a very happy and safe holiday season. We are into 2021. Hopefully things will look better on many fronts, and certainly what we focus on here on The Game is sports, and we'll start with local sports. And well, there have been quite a few updates to the high school sports season since we last joined you a couple weeks ago. And right now, the Michigan High School Athletic Association has set forth their plan to finish fall sports, to start winter sports. And so let's go over some of the details. We do have one team still going in fall sports in the Eastern Upper Peninsula. That is the Rudyard Bulldogs volleyball team. We were hoping to be joined by their head coach, Amanda Reed, tonight, but she had a very good excuse. They are able to practice again, set for their quarterfinal matchup next weekend. Starting with volleyball, the practices began today for the remaining 32 teams involved in the volleyball tournament, and practices starting today with the quarterfinals will be a week from today on January 12th. The champions will be crowned in Battle Creek on January 16th. Participants in volleyball must take part in a rapid testing pilot program, which was created by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Athletes, coaches, and other team personnel directly involved in practice and competition must test 3 times per week using the Binax Now antigen tests that produce results within 15 minutes. Teams and individuals in both sports must complete 1 round of negative COVID-19 tests before beginning practice. This also involves the football teams, which we'll get to in a moment. So the quarterfinals will commence on Tuesday, January 12th. The Rudyard Bulldogs in Division 4. They are set to take on Kearney Nadu in Manistee, and the winner of that match will advance to the semifinal in Battle Creek against the winner of Auburn Hills, Oakland Christian, and Olby. So good luck to the Rudyard Bulldogs, and we will have their head coach on our show after the season. And as I was chatting to her, hopefully we'll be in a couple weeks after a state title for the Bulldogs. Football, they also began their practices last week, and they will have their matches starting up again here this upcoming weekend. The 11-player contest will be the regional finals, while the 8-player will be the semifinals. Same protocol as with the volleyball ones that I just mentioned. And there are a few UP teams that are still alive in high school football. In 8-player Division II, Powers North Central, they will host Marion. That game is this Saturday at 12 o'clock. In 8-player Division I, no UP team still going, but the team that knocked out Pickford due to COVID, not on the field, but unfortunately due to the pandemic, Indian River Inland Lakes, they are set to travel to Sutton's Bay this weekend to take on that squad. In Division 8, Iron Mountain, they're still going. They're in their regional final. They'll take on Johannesburg Lewiston. That game will be played in Iron Mountain. In Division 6, Nagani, they are traveling to Grayling to take on the Vikings in a D6, and the team that knocked out the Soo High Blue Devils, which seems like it was about a year ago, it was only a month or so ago, Cadillac, they will take on Flint Hamady Eastern in that one. Now, as far as winter sports, the winter sports have been under a pause for practice, but if the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services pause ends, indoor practices may begin on January 16th. This includes ice hockey, boys and girls basketball, wrestling, and swimming and diving in this area. And the council from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, they've approved a one-year change to competition limits in ice hockey and wrestling. In hockey, teams may play 2 games on one non-school day. For example, they can go travel or at home and play a doubleheader if they so choose. The winter tournament schedule has not been changed, but that's going to cause the regular season to be pretty compact when you figure the first days of competition won't be until January 22nd, and the tournament will start in March. So let's keep our fingers crossed for some high school basketball, high school hockey, high school wrestling, swimming and diving, and such. Spring sports right now, no changes as far as the plan for spring sports. If current orders further delay activity beyond January 16th for the winter sports, then the Michigan High School Athletic Association may be amending some plans. But right now, spring sports on as scheduled. So things are hopeful that we can get these fall tournaments in. We can start up winter sports and hopefully get a spring sports season. We will keep you up to date on all that is going on in high school sports here on the game. We're going to talk more about the NOJHL and OHL at the bottom of the hour with our co-host and host of the Game Sports Show in Soo, Ontario, David McCaig Jr. Right now, the NOJHL is in a pause as far as the potential restart to the season. Of course, this doesn't include the Sioux Eagles at this time due to the border closure. Also, Elliott Lake, they decided to opt out at the beginning of the season, and now the Powassan Voodoos, they have decided to postpone their season. So right now, the NOJHL has 9 teams going, and they're going to have to wait and see as far as what the municipalities and the province has to say about the current stay-at-home or lockdown order, if you will, as cases are still around, especially in Ontario. They have increased quite a bit, and they're still going on here. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens there. OHL, we'll talk more about that with Dave McCaig, but OHL right now has decided to suspend, I should say, easy for me to say, their season coming up in lieu of the health and safety measures that are going on. Training camps were scheduled to begin here next week with their last plan, but right now they are kind of taking it easy and seeing what happens as far as COVID-19 and how that may affect these sports leagues and such. Well, one team that is playing hockey, and they have been throughout the season, the Lake Superior State University Lakers, they were at home this weekend to take on Bemidji State, a pair of non-conference games. On Saturday, it was the Lakers falling to Bemidji by the score of 4-1. Miroslav Mutka scored the only goal for the Lakers on Saturday. Merrick's Mittens stopped 29 shots in the first loss of the season and his first loss in net for the Lakers. The Lakers would rebound yesterday, skating to a 2-2 tie against Bemidji State. They would win the shootout in the 7th round on a goal by Miroslav Mutka. The Lakers came back from a 2-goal deficit in the third period thanks to goals by Will Rydell and Ashton Calder, while Merrick's Mittens once again in net stopped 28 shots for the Lakers. So the Lakers right now 4-1-3 overall. They were ranked 19th in the latest rankings. Haven't seen the newest ones coming out. And they will be on the road this weekend for their final non-conference series of the season, as they will take on the Northern Michigan Wildcats in a pair of road games. The first game is scheduled for this Friday at 7:07 at the Barrie Event Center, while the Saturday night game, a little earlier start time on that one, 6:07, You can hear both games on our sister station, Yes FM, starting with the pregame show Friday around 6:35, 6:40 with Bill Crawford and Matt Pocket. Laker men's and women's basketball have been practicing, and they are set to open their season this weekend. The Laker men ranked third in the GLIAC North Division preseason poll. They'll be at home this Friday and Saturday to take on Wayne State. Friday game is at 3 p.m. Saturday game is at 1 p.m. No fans allowed for hockey or basketball at this time, but you can hear the games right here on ESPN 1400 starting on Friday around 2:45. I believe David John, if he's not too busy, he's been a busy guy, he will have the calls for that one. Laker women's basketball scheduled to be at Wayne State this upcoming weekend. Forgot to mention the other games that happened in the WCHA this weekend. Bowling Green over Ferris State on Saturday by the score of 6-1. Michigan Tech at home shuts out Alabama Huntsville 4-0. And Minnesota State, they go to Northern Michigan and wallop the Wildcats 5-0. Michigan Tech would get the sweep on Sunday over Alabama Huntsville, winning by the score of 2-1. Bowling Green also a sweep on the road, knocking off Ferris State by the score of 4-2. And Minnesota State, another sweep, as they shut out Northern Michigan 2 straight games, winning on Sunday by the score of 4-0. Games this weekend in the WCHA. Thursday night, Bemidji State will be at Bowling Green. They'll also be there on Friday night. Ferris State will be at Alabama Huntsville starting on Friday night for a pair of games. These conference games, all but the Lakers series, and Michigan Tech, they will be at Minnesota State Friday and Saturday. Well, a big event that happens in St. Ignace this year, the UP Adult Pond Hockey 2021, that has been canceled. This announced by the St. Ignace Visitors Bureau, as they have canceled that event, which is originally scheduled to be February 11th through the 14th. This draws a lot of amateur hockey players and enthusiasts from all over the Midwest and Canada to play hockey on frozen Lake Huron. Well, we may not even get to a frozen Lake Huron right now. The event planners certainly saddened to see the event canceled this year, but they say they are planning to come back strong in 2022. And of course, the I-500, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. That one is canceled as well here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, which would be, boy, hard to believe, 3-4 weeks? If that event happened, then organizers decided to make the tough decision to cancel, and the right decision right now as far as us handling this pandemic. But again, with the weather and the mild temperatures and not a whole lot of snow, maybe it wouldn't have mattered. That might have been canceled on its own. We have a busy show tonight here on the game. Coming up here in about 4 minutes, we're going to talk Soo Indians hockey with their general manager, Mike Kaunisto. The Indians were on the road taking on the Chicago Young Americans, a highly ranked team in the nation. We'll get the word from the GM on what's going on with the Soo Indians. Coming up at 6:30, we'll be talking more Soo Ontario sports with David McCaig Jr. 6:45, we'll be joined by Butch Davis from Metro Detroit, host of the show Butch On Sports, who will get us up to date on everything going on in the Detroit sports scene. And then 7 to 8, we have a full hour of the roundtable. Yours truly, Butch Davis, and we're hoping to be joined by host of the Hot Seat, E.J. Russell, in Escanaba, Michigan, as we have a lot of sports to cover. Been a busy sports holiday, and we'll cover it all here on the game. We're going to take our first break. We come back, we'll talk Soo Indians hockey. Coming up next here on the game, ESPN 1400.
If you're looking for friendly, competent, caring insurance service for your home, auto, business, or farm in the Eastern Upper Peninsula, see the folks at Don Wilson Insurance at 110 Dawson Street in the Sioux today. Don Wilson Insurance has worked with Fremont Insurance of Michigan for the past 20 years, and Fremont's been providing the finest coverage in the state of Michigan since 1876. For competitive rates on all your insurables, see the friendly staff at Don Wilson Insurance and Fremont, serving the EUP since 1999. Don Wilson Insurance and Fremont, big fans of Lake Superior State University and the Lakers. Looking for a good pre-owned car, SUV, or truck to get you through the coming winter? See the great selection of used vehicles on the lot now at Soo Motors. More than 25 SUVs and 20 or more cars and trucks are available for the huge year-end savings program. Lots of Escapes priced to sell, Explorers, Edges, F-150s, and there are 9 sedans on the lot. If you want new wheels this winter, see the sales staff at Soo Motors today. Soo Motors on 3 Mile across from Walmart in the Michigan Sioux.
Hi, this is Scott from Parker Ace Hardware. At Ace, we make painting a simple pleasure. Ask one of our friendly, knowledgeable Ace associates about our Ace Royal Paint, a high-quality paint at a price you'll love. You'll find Ace Royal Paint starting at an everyday low price of just $19.99 a gallon. It's another reason why, from a simple start to a fabulous finish, Parker Ace can help make your next painting project perfect. Parker Ace, the helpful place. Stop by Parker Ace Hardware. We're looking forward to serving you real soon.
Stop by Parker Ace Hardware at 819 Ashman, downtown Sioux, Michigan.
I support our community, so I shop locally and work with other area businesses whenever I can. My credit union does too, so I became a member there. My credit union offers online bill pay, mobile banking, and e-statements. I get first-name friendly service along with faster, smarter banking. That's an unbeatable combination.
Sioux Co-op Credit Union, your credit union, federally insured by NCUA. Visit us online at SiouxCoop.com.
Let's get back to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Let's get back to the game on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400. You can also hear our show online at thegamesportshow.com and thegamesportshow.podbean.com. Scott Nason with you on this first Monday night of 2021, and our first guest is here via the telephone, General Manager of the Soo Indians, Mike Kaunisto, joining us on the game. Mike, always like having you in the studio, but we got you on the phone tonight, trying to keep people out of the studio and such. Glad to have you on either way. How you doing, sir?
Good, Scott. Thanks for having me on. Wish we could have come up to the studio. Big Daddy was biting at the bit to come up and grab the microphone and do a little talking, but this is better than not being on the radio, and, we're still moving ahead and hope 2021 has something good for us here.
Well, we always love talking Soo Indians hockey, Mike, and before we get to the hockey, I've been asking all my guests the same question here over the last few months. How are you and your family holding up during these challenging times with COVID-19 and just in general?
Well, everything's going good. Obviously, with Christmas and the holidays just gone by, we were fortunate enough our son got to come home from Poland.
Oh, wow.
Haven't seen in a while. But, Corey was home for a few weeks, and everything was good there. But, it was a lot of hunkering down, and it was definitely family time. It wasn't going out socializing in the bars because they're not open or out for dinners. It was a lot of home time.
You save a lot of money that way, I'm told.
Well, yeah, we save a lot of money, but it was all good. It's a little more like the older days, I'm sure. But everybody was good, and everybody got through the holidays all safe, and we're really ready to get back to normal life, hopefully. Now the election's over and we get back to just living normal.
That sounds good to me, Mike. Let's talk about the Soo Indians. Your squad was on the road this weekend in Chicago, taking on the Chicago Young Americans, a pretty high-ranked team nationally, and the Indians had a fantastic weekend, winning on Saturday by the score of 2-0, Logan Raphael with the shutout, and then a 2-2 tie on Sunday. Just tell us about those games, coming off the break. And, this season obviously hasn't had a lot of flow to it, but you guys have been able to play a few games at least. Give us a snapshot of what you saw this weekend.
Yeah, well, we went to Chicago, and it's a very good CYA team. And we were fortunate enough that they squeezed us in for a couple of games. Their arena was open. I think it's a privately owned rink or whatever. But, they're a really good team. They're exciting to watch. They have a couple former Lake Superior. Well, one former Lake Superior guy. His sons are on the team. Maybe Timmy Breslin from the Lakers.
Right.
Yeah, his boys are on the team. No, we had a good weekend. The guys came out strong. We had 4 good days of practice before we left. And we really didn't know what we were up against right away after the break. But the guys came out, they worked hard. Coach Ferroni had a good system in place, and the guys defensively were sound. Obviously, Rafi had a great game on Saturday night with a 2-0, a 2-0 win and having the shutout. and our guys just worked hard. It was good to see. And on Sunday, Lucas Henderson was in net, our other goalie, and he had a real good outing too. They scored a goal late on us that we kind of blew the defensive coverage. It was our fault, not our fault, but our teams. They knew the mistake they made. But it's a learning process with these guys. But it could have been. We could have had 2 wins on the weekend for sure. And the goal was late too, so Coach Ferrone wasn't very happy about that. It was at the 4-minute mark, and we just gave up the puck at the wrong spot, and we weren't on the defensive side of the puck, and they stung us. But all in all, it was a great weekend to open up after into the new year, getting the boys back on the bus, getting on the road, a little camaraderie, and it was just nice to see because they came together really quick. And everybody's healthy. They're doing the right thing, staying within our own and around the rink. And, the team is really staying by themselves and staying together because they want to play too. So they know the rules we have to go by. And we stress it every day at the rink. Hey, the health part of this season is huge. We all got to take care of ourselves.
Mike, the addition of head coach John Ferrone obviously filling in for Pat Caricato, who can't come over due to the border closure. We had him on a few weeks ago, and he seemed very excited on working with these guys. Just how has the addition of him been, in your opinion, to the squad?
It's amazing. We had a lot of difficulties at the beginning of this season. We had a couple of COVID hit the team a couple times. We had a couple different breaks. And it really wore on the guys. And we had a few of our top-end guys leave. And I don't blame kids because it was a pretty hard situation, move away from home. And, our team wasn't very stable at that point. Then Clem had to back out of coaching, which was unfortunate. But John stepped in, and he did a great job. The first thing he did was take care of the team, make sure the boys were all getting along together. He changed the lines up a bit. We're more consistent in about every area, and he's just doing a fabulous job bringing the boys together and making them work. Everybody's on the same page playing, so they're really doing well.
Lots of local players on this year's Soo Indians squad, Mike. 5 players by my count. You have Kyle Stevens, Rob Landis. Also have Aiden Hoppala, Dylan Zabel, and Logan Raphael. Obviously you want to get as many hometown players on your team, but you have to be good enough to be on these teams because you have a very talented squad. How have the Sooites been so far this season?
Well, the Sooites are very young. And actually, we just picked up another one right at the deadline on the 28th or 29th. Jerry squeezed him onto our roster. Keldon Casey is now with the team.
Oh, okay.
He played the past weekend in Chicago. And for a guy just stepping on the ice after quite a long break, I guess, Keldon had a great weekend. I mean, he was blocking shots. He was doing everything he had to do to contribute. And, he's a nice addition to the team, too. He's got a ways to go to get up to the speed. But Keldon had a great weekend. Kyle Stevens as a 05 birth year, which is 15 years old, playing U18.
Wow.
Kyle's doing fabulous. He knows the game very well. He just, at this point, he's just undersized, and, the maturity and the strength part's got to come in. The same thing with Aiden. Aiden Hoppala is doing very well. He played AAA last year in Canada. So, he's used to all kinds of competition playing anywhere. 'Cause he's been in Toronto playing. He's been all over the place, but Aiden's doing really well too. Robbie Landis is really coming into his own on defense. Coach Ferrone made him an assistant captain because he's one of the leaders in the locker room on and off the ice. He's really putting in the work effort off the ice. His foot speed's coming up, and I seen he had power play time this weekend. So Robbie's just doing fabulous, and he's actually an 03 birth year, and he's got another year in midgets left, but I got a feeling the Eagles are going to come knocking on the door chasing that bird down pretty quick after the year's over. But that's what it's all about. If a guy's ready to go to the next level, we're glad you stopped here for a minute. That's all good. And the goaltending part, Logan Raphael, you just can't say enough about Logan. He works his butt off every day. He works his butt off in practice. And we knew we'd have to weather the storm the first few minutes of that game, both, on Saturday night, because they come out flying, and they've been waiting for games too. And they had a little light showing, the smoke flying, music going crazy in this rink. And Logan come out and stood on his head and held us in there till the boys got, rid of the bus legs, because we hopped off the bus and played a game. So, and then we went 2-0. And he's been really good. So, the local guys, it's great to see they're not only on the team, they are contributing, and they're a big part of the team.
Mike Kaunisto joining us on the game, general manager of the Soo Indians. Mike, a couple more questions before we let you go. Obviously, it's a challenging time for all of us trying to run an organization, trying to keep kids here, trying to schedule games. How has that been for you? I mean, it's something that, you have plan A and then all of a sudden you have to pivot to plan B or C. Just give us an idea of just trying to be a general manager during these times. How difficult has that been?
Well, it's very difficult because from going from plan A to plan B, I think we're about FG, somewhere around there already, because, between myself and Jerry and Rick, we do a lot of the planning of the team, and Dan, we all help, and it's been very trying, but we're keeping the guys together. The housing part was really difficult with the COVID going on, but everything seems to be working out. We got a great team, a great bunch of guys. And just like last weekend, we're in Chicago, and Chicago shut down. I mean, it's a ghost town, worse than here. So the menu last weekend was Jimmy John's and Cordoba. They're right next to each other.
That's not bad.
No, but that was the weekend. That was the menu. You can't get anything at the rinks. Everything's closed down, and you just go in and play and pretty much find a shower real quick, get the guys back on the bus and get out of there. But we're moving forward, and the guys are doing good, so I'm doing everything I can to keep them on the ice and keep finding games. But hopefully our darling governor there, if she opens up when she's supposed to here in another week or two, we have a full schedule going right into the 1st of April. So every weekend we'll be either home or away. I think I have like 28 games lined up right now. The state tournament, as they pushed it back, I just got word from Maha today. It'll be in the first weekend in April, but our state playoffs will start like the 3rd, 4th weekend in March, and then the state finals the first weekend in April. We're going to be a busy team, but we're looking forward to it. We got 20 guys. We did the whole staff did a great job getting 20 guys on the ice, and the deadline, we got on the bus, and Jerry said, this has got to be the first year we ever had 20. Good job, boys. And, we got 20 guys, and they're ready to go, and they're healthy. And, with Coach Ferrone there, he's really excited after his 2-year break. And he said yesterday, I wasn't prepared for a 7.5-hour bus ride. I'm telling you that right now, boys.
Been a while for him on that kind of ride.
Yeah. It's all good, though. Like, everybody's working really hard to keep it going. It's really a team effort from the players to the staff. And it's been quite enjoyable for everything we're living through. And most of these guys, I've told them numerous times, you guys live through this, you'll be able to play anywhere, anytime.
Absolutely.
You guys are doing a great job, and we're really proud of our guys.
Mike Kaunisto joining us on the game, general manager of the Soo Indians. Mike, we'll let you get back to Canada and Russia and the World Juniors, and we'll certainly keep our listeners updated as far as when games are scheduled, when restrictions are lifted, and certainly looking forward to seeing some Soo Indians hockey. Thanks for joining us tonight on the game, my friend.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right, we're
gonna have a great day.
Thank you. You too. We're going to take a break, and we'll talk to Dave McCaig Jr. from the Game Sports Show in Sioux, Ontario, all coming up next here on the game, ESPN 1400.
Just because another mandate has come down from Lansing doesn't mean you still can't enjoy your favorite food and drinks from Sioux Brewing Company. Open every day, offering carryout. During the present mandate, we're offering $2 off growler fills, so treat yourself to a Laker Gold, Maggie's Irish Red, or 13 IPA. Now on the corner of Ashland Street and Portage Avenue, your town, your beer, Sioux Brewing Company.
Since 1916, a lot of independent agents have recommended auto owner's insurance, and a lot of parents have taken that recommendation to heart. So have a lot of their children, and grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. As we celebrate our first 100 years, Auto Owners Insurance thanks all those who have put their trust in us, and all the generations who will.
Visit Madigan Pingator Insurance Services today on Water Street in Sioux, Michigan, or at madiganpingator.com.
Is your furnace old? You could be dealing with a low-efficiency furnace costing you hundreds of dollars a year. The experts at Albert Heating and Cooling can help you with a new high-efficiency Bryant furnace. On sale now till the end of February. With your new furnace, you can buy an extended 10-year labor warranty for only $99. Start saving today with a new furnace and sleep soundly knowing you have no worries. Go online at albertheating.com bryantbryant.com or stop in at 3147 South M129, just south of 3 Mile Road today. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Picture this. It's Monday afternoon and you're at Domino's buying a large 3-topping pizza. You give the Domino's employee $7.99 plus tax, of course. Now, picture this. It's Friday and you're at Domino's buying a large 3-topping pizza. You give the Domino's employee more than you paid Monday. You feel bamboozled. But then you hear this.
Domino's extended its $7.99 large 3-topping carryout deal to all day, every day.
And so you danced and ate Domino's. Carryout only. Must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, and charges may vary.
You can catch podcasts of the game at thegamesportshow.com. Now let's get back to it with Scott Nason here on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game, ESPN 1400 and online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason with you on this Monday night, the first Monday night edition of the game here in 2021. And joining us now, host of the Game Sports Show in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, also host of our show here on ESPN 1400. You know him, you love him. His name is David McCaig Jr. Kegger, how you doing on this Monday night, sir?
Scotty, my friend, happy holidays. Merry belated Christmas, Happy New Year, all that fun stuff. Hopefully you had a great holiday, and I hope all of our listeners and everyone on the Canadian side and the United States side of the border had a great one, and just worldwide as well. Just make sure I say that as well. And holidays went by way too fast, Scotty. You know, honestly, it felt like it went a little bit quicker this year than other years. I know time flies by when you're having fun per se, but overall, the holidays went by way too fast, it seemed.
They sure did, and Happy New Year and Happy Holidays to you, sir. And, well, before we get to some of the leagues locally that aren't playing, let's talk about some of the teams that are playing. We talked earlier about the Lake Superior State University Laker hockey team along with the Soo Indians, but we have a couple big semifinals tonight, Dave, in the World Junior Championships, and really no big surprises here. The United States will be taking on Finland later tonight in one semifinal going on right now. Canada will be playing Russia, or are playing Russia right now, and the championship game will be later this week. Really, Dave, if you drew up the brackets with these four teams in the semifinals, I don't think anybody would be very surprised that the semifinals that we're seeing tonight are indeed the teams that we expected to be there.
These are definitely the teams that we did. Maybe if you want to substitute Finland out for Sweden, that might be something for some individuals that would say so. And obviously with the games going on now, I got on right in the background here, make sure I'm not missing any lick of the action. As you know, watching Canada, I'll say, has been a real treat so far this year. They have a lot of great talent on that team. But the World Juniors this year, you know, when you look at Seagrass on the United States and you look at Caulfield on the United States side, then you go look at Finland, a lot of Leaf prospects on Finland, may I add as well, like Hervainen, and they're a really tenacious team. And Russia, of course, they got a lot of Leaf prospects on there too, but Rodin Amirov, and Mikhail Abramov, guys, and Yaroslav Askarov, a lot of offs on that team, of course. And Yaroslav is a unique talent. Okay, that's the goalie that I've been watching all tournament, but Scott, that's the goalie that I was watching ever since he was 15, 16 years old. Okay. Yaroslav Askarov, I've been a fan of him since he was brought up in all the prospect realm and just the rankings when he was 15, 16 years old, where he was predicted to go. And obviously this year, I think Nashville got a steal with Yaroslav Askarov. And just overall with Canada, Russia here, you can never really underestimate either side. If Canada gets up, Russia has the ability to come back. But if Russia gets the lead, overall, Canada has that talent to battle back. So obviously the game between Russia and Canada, I think, is the most favored to watch. No offense to everyone in the United States and Finland. I think U.S. are favorites in that game. But hey, Sweden was also favorites as well over Finland. So it'll be very interesting to see how it all shapes out at the end of this evening.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. I think everybody on both sides of the border are hoping for a U.S.-Canada final. That's always a good time. Dave, let's move on to the Ontario Hockey League. Since our last broadcast a couple weeks ago, the OHL has suspended the season, or the delay to start the 2021 season. Training camps, they had been scheduled to begin in mid-January, as many players were set to report to their teams, and games were scheduled to commence about a month from tonight, February 4th. However, the OHL has delayed that. This follows Ontario Premier Ford's announcements of a province-wide shutdown in Ontario, which started on December 26th. They say the league will continue to consult and work closely with governments and health authorities to determine potential start dates of the new year. Dave, it's not looking real good, I think, for the OHL right now. What compounds their problems, obviously, is that they have their team spread out through the province, including Southern Ontario and the United States. So what's your thoughts as far as the OHL kind of punting, if you will, or kicking the can down the road so they see what's going to happen in the next few weeks? But, it gets to, if you start the season in March, you're really up against it. What are your thoughts on where the OHL is at right now?
Honestly, there's a few things, right? If you look at January 1 and January 2, there was 2,476 cases and 3,363 respectively between January 1 and January 2 in Canada. Now, January 3rd, which is, of course, yesterday, there was a report of over 2,000. Again, I believe it was 2,964, I believe was the exact number. And the numbers are still, that may not seem like a large amount, especially if you're looking at bigger populated, especially in the United States. But here in Ontario and in Canada, that is a pretty big state. And within Canada, of course, that it's not getting better. It's not improving. The spread is there. And Ford called this. I'll say it. He said that we're going to have another outbreak of COVID throughout the Christmas and New Year's holidays. And it did happen. And honestly, people are saying, "Oh, let's proceed on to 2021." We're still technically following through the repercussions of 2020 and the end of.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so everyone who's thinking that 2021 might be a better year, I hope it is too. But we're at the start right now, and we're still feeling the repercussions of 2020. So right now, the cases are not improving. Okay, which means if those aren't improving, Scott, you can kiss every sport you want to see. You can think of everything else that you want to do that's exciting, lockdowns, everything's going to happen and not be there, especially on the sports aspect. So with them kicking the can down the road, as you said, Scott, that's a great analogy for it. I appreciate that. I'm glad to see that the Ontario Hockey League wants to get into it. I know the NOJHL is in the same predicament as well. It's going to be a risk, though, to do it, even when things start to kind of slow down a bit. It's never going to be fully gone until potentially the vaccine, which, again, with the vaccine, has been coming back 95%, so still 5% chance. There's all this other medical and political terminology that I won't get into here because we're talking sports, but it's still going to be in effect a month from now and 2 months from now. This is not going anywhere. Then I've been saying that since the beginning of the year. So has everybody. And as I said, we're not a medical news show here by any means. Okay. And I'm not a doctor by any means. I may work at a hospital, but I ain't a doctor. So I'm telling you right now that from what we see right now with the cases climbing, things are not getting better. But yes, it's not 5,000. It's not 10,000, thankfully. But in terms of sports, Scott, you're not going to see the Ontario Hockey League. They keep delaying. I think if they go up to March and it's the end of March and they still haven't played, I think you got to can the entire season. And like you said, kick the can down the road. I think you got to can the entire season. Okay, there's no more season.
And the other thing with the OHL, Dave, compared to some of these other leagues that are going or have gone and are paused right now, is it's such a high revenue league. It's such a high money league. And even if you do come back, say, in a month and a half, 2 months without fans, that really puts these organizations in a cash strap. I mean, they are very much dependent on season ticket revenue, concessions revenue, and you throw that out, and you're looking at maybe late February, early March. At some point, I think the powers that be just have to look at it and say, you know what, guys, we're just going to have to can the whole thing and wait until September.
Yeah, it's not like everyone says where they can survive the National Hockey League could without fans. Okay, it's a little bit different, like you said, Scott. The Ontario Hockey League, especially, really thrives on that revenue from their local communities. Especially if you want to talk about Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, they don't have as big as a stadium as per se London does, and maybe the same kind of revenue that London has in their bank account. Let's get real. Maybe not. Maybe so. I'm not going to get into that, but it is, like you said, dependent on that revenue. And I don't think the OHL can survive without fans. But again, maybe there could be support from certain broadcasting stations. Maybe the NHL can support, even though they don't have the money to do that. Like, there could be assistance from around. But it just seems like a lot of points that would have to be addressed. And to do it in such little time as of now, it wouldn't make sense. But you know what? The goal is they suspended in February. It may be March. Hopefully that happens. I can't see it happening. I can't see these improvements really going down again until we start hitting March, with the numbers really staying down and also when a vaccine comes out and we start seeing numbers from that. So it's a lot of parts and a lot of moving parts that have to determine the season if it can actually go. Someone has told me that why doesn't the OHL just do a quick mini season and jump into a playoff? Well, that's not really the fairest way to go. It's not the best way to go. It's just basically doing a trial by fire. If it doesn't work out by the end of March, they shouldn't have a season.
Dave, the NOJHL, which had been playing up until mid-December, they made some news this weekend talking about their potential restart of the season in January. The Powassan Voodoos have requested and received permission for a leave of absence for the remainder of the 2021 season due to COVID-19. The league is allowing that those players can potentially join other NOJHL clubs. Of course, everybody knows over here the Soo Eagles unable to participate in that league. Elliott Lake, they opted out. So you already have 3 teams that aren't in the league. The league is hoping if the health regulations allow them to come back for their cohort competing teams this month, they will be the Sioux Thunderbirds against Rayside Balfour, Blind River against French River, Timmins against Cochrane, Hearst against Kirkland Lake, Espanola, they're the odd team out, but return in February. But again, all potential return to play scenarios, they're going to be based on provincial and regional public health rulings and approved authorizations. So the NOJHL has been able to get some games in, but now they're losing teams. And with, like you said, Dave, increasing cases, not just in the United States, but also in Ontario. Maybe it's more in Southern Ontario, but the numbers don't really look good for Northern Ontario as well. What's your thoughts on the NOJHL where they sit right now?
My thoughts for the NOJHL even still connects with the Ontario Hockey League, just travel all in all in general. Okay, I know when you think of the Sioux Thunderbirds and and they have that kind of the regional side that you could have certain teams playing against each other. However, it comes down to it that when you have the travel in any type of scenario, okay, despite the Thunderbirds got to go to Sudbury, they're still traveling there. You're still going to get involved with having contact with players. It's still a potential area for spread. People don't understand how contagious this could be, and it's getting more contagious. It's also mutating. There's more stuff to COVID that people may not look into. And overall, Scott, I just think that I want hockey here more than the next guy. Trust me, everyone. I want sports here in general, because it not only does it give us something to talk about, it lets me, get my money's worth from my cable, first off, but also to be able to really enjoy the sports. I miss that atmosphere, feeling that stress, especially as a Toronto fan. I really miss feeling that stress to an extent. But just local hockey in the truth. There's great talent here with the Thunderbirds and the Greyhounds, but even the NOJHL, Blind River, the Birds, Sudbury, a lot of good local area teams, if you will, that are close to the Sioux. But overall, with travel, Scott, I'm really against that. And until things are basically to what they were in the summer here in Canada, which is next to none to no cases really contained, or overall the vaccine's effective, I don't think hockey resuming is a strong option for anyone to consider, because the travel is what it is that's causing this issue. Everyone should remain into their own city, remain in their own bubble, and focus on having the surroundings of their loved ones within their bubble, of course, and to the safety of others. And I know that's a business, I know it's a world that stems from hockey to media and everything of sorts, but for everything to be contained, everyone wants to follow suit, and to follow suit, it is following the rules that are brought forward by both the Canadian government. I know United States government may be a little bit different. I'll let you jump into that in terms of that. But with Canada, if you don't have any essential travel, nothing should be considered until COVID-19 is contained.
I couldn't agree more. David McCaig Jr. joining us on the game. Dave, before we let you go, what's ahead for you and your crew for the Game Sports Show in Sioux, Ontario?
Honestly, this was the week that we decided that we wanted to come back and do some recordings in-house in our studio and also upload a special edition upload. However, we are going to be delaying it an additional week. We will be obviously doing some recordings on our end for all the listeners so they have some content when that upload happens. But we will not be doing anything in Sioux, Ontario this week planned. We did plan an In the Pocket segment, maybe towards the end of the week, getting into next week, but at this current time, there'll be no uploads on the Soo Ontario side this week, so make sure you keep an eye on. We do plan to be back the following week, which is January the 12th. We plan our next upload, and that interview that we're going to be uploading in particular is with Darren McCarty.
Yes.
Detroit Red Wings legend. So that'll be our next upload, and we do plan that to be on the 12th, and on the week of the 11th, we plan to get back to normality with uploads, either if it's inside the studios or if it's through Skype with everyone here on the staff on the Game Sports Show on the Canadian side.
Dave, I'm certainly looking forward to all your shows, and especially that Darren McCarty one of my favorite players of all time. David McCaig Jr. joining us on the game. Dave, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week. Same time, same channel, sir.
Sounds good, Scotty. And again, Happy New Year, and I look forward to talking to you again, my friend.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk Detroit sports with Butch Davis from Butch On Sports, all coming up on the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show, The Game, on ESPN 1400.
For the safety and health of the communities we serve and our employees, our Central Savings Bank lobbies are now open by appointment only. CSB's drive-ups are open to serve all of your banking needs. Remember, you can always use mobile banking, internet banking, our 24/7 access line, and ATMs. You can also give us a call at 906-635-6250 to transfer funds. Ask what the CSB family can do for you.
Ask what we can do for you.
For the safety and health of the communities we serve and our employees, our Central Savings Bank lobbies are now open by appointment only. CSB's drive-ups are open to serve all of your banking needs. Remember, you can always use mobile banking, internet banking, our 24/7 access line, and ATMs. You can also give us a call at 906-635-6250 to transfer funds. Ask what the CSB family can do for you.
Ask what we can do for you.
From the CSB family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
When it comes to you and your family's health, you want the best care possible. Arfstrom Pharmacy, your locally owned Health Mart pharmacy, is here to help. The caring and knowledgeable staff takes the time to get to know their customers, understand their needs, and help them on a path to better health. From prescription drugs to medical equipment and supplies, they are able to meet your needs. Arfstrom Pharmacy offers a prescription savings club plan. Save on over 300 prescription medications. Some as little as $4 for a 30-day supply, or $10 for a 90-day supply. Club members will also enjoy big savings on other generic brand drugs too. With so many drugs covered by this plan, you could be paying a lot less for your prescription medications in the months ahead. Also, free delivery of prescription drugs within the city limits, and a prescription drug pickup service at the War Memorial Community Care Clinic, Kinchlow. Call us for details at 632-9661. Arfstrom Pharmacy and Arfstrom Medical Equipment and Supplies. A lifetime of service in the Eastern UP at the corner of Ashman and Spruce Street in the heart of downtown Sioux, Michigan. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Let's get back to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Let's get back to the game on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400. You can also hear our show online at thegamesportshow.com and thegamesportshow.podbean.com. Want to thank our guests so far, including Zeke Kaunisto, general manager of the Soo Indians, and David McCaig Jr., co-host of this show. Joining us right now, co-host of this show and host of his own show, Butch On Sports, which you can find on his webpage. Just go to Simply Butch 2. That's TOO.podomatic.com. You can also find his shows on our website, thegamesportshow.com, as Butch joins us each and every week to talk about what's going on in the Metro Detroit sports scene. Butch, Happy New Year. How you doing on this Monday night, sir?
Just fine, considering what here, but hey, he's just doing fine there.
That's what we like to hear, Butch. And, another good thing to hear is the Lions season is done, as they fell to the Minnesota Vikings yesterday by the score of 37-35, finishing the season at 5-11 and having their all-time worst defense ever, as they allowed 519 points and almost 7,000 yards of offense this season, both franchise records. Butch, the Lions put up a fight. Why, I don't know, because why would you win that game? Your thoughts on what you saw at Ford Field yesterday?
Well, it's not about no gambling or whatnot there. And the point is beyond compare there. But the Lions got some pretty good doggone players on the team. It's just a shame that their coaching staff and, most importantly, their scouting staff has not done the job there. And that's what Chris Billman, Ron Woods and company is going to have to fix right quick there. You know, this is a joke. It's beyond repair. But again, you can salvage a whole heck of a lot of stuff there by getting some decent people in the front office, and that's your coaching staff and also your scouts there. That has to change quick, fast, and in a hurry for the Detroit Lions there. They're operating in the ice ages there, and right now they need to come to terms and coming into the modern era of football now.
Well, they currently are looking for not just a general manager, but a coach, Butch. They've interviewed quite a few people already for general manager, and looks like they're interviewing a few people today. Eric Bieniemy from the Kansas City Chiefs was reportedly interviewed today. Robert Saleh, who's a guy I really like, he's going to be interviewed on Thursday. You know, what are you looking for, covering the Lions and, living in Detroit? What type of coach are you looking for? I know one thing you mentioned on your show a lot, Butch, is, somebody that is from there, and that's where Saleh would really come into mind. But what are attributes for a coach and a general manager that you're looking for?
Well, you got to get someone who's been a Detroit Lion or associated with the Detroit Lions or in the neighborhood of Detroit Lions to understand the Detroit Lions and some of the history they've had. And since William Clay Ford has acquired the Lions, that has not happened, okay? Maybe a couple times there, maybe in 91 and some other years there. But, again, it hasn't happened. The Lions have done a very poor job. We can go back to Mr. Moeller there when the Lions were just a game back from making the playoffs, but yet and still Matt Millen came in and fired everybody, and that's why we're in this big fat mess we're in right now there. It's nothing to say that I think the Lions have picked some good players, but again, the scouting team that goes and do all the work and come back to the coaches and the general managers and give all these suggestions, they got to be spot on. You can't hire veterans or get free agents that are injured from somewhere else and they don't know about it, because that's just poor rapport and finding out what's actually going on there. And the Lions had a lot of that. Jeff Okudah this year, we got really little to nothing out of that young man there, a first-round draft pick. Those are poor decisions when it comes down to find out the whole truth about the athlete in general there. And they got to do a decent job of it there. Matthew Stafford, they've treated him like a slop jar, okay? And I've been, don't get me wrong, I've been very complainant of Matthew Stafford and how he operates there. But again, he's getting his marching orders from coaching staff, right, and everybody who's going and doing the scouting reports and coming in on a Monday and saying, this is what we have with the other team and this is how you work. And then when he goes out in the field, he gets a doggone pie slapped in his face there and everything goes wrong. Now the team is either fighting or, when they do have a lead, they don't know how to operate. That comes from the very bad defense we have had in the last years, and it's just been pathetic there. Again, my choice is really on a coach, someone who knows the Lions, who understands the culture of the Lions, who maybe been a Lion. They got too many good players who still hang around the Lions for certain functions. There being some of the people in mind is let's see, Scott Koronkowski there. Yeah. Is one who hangs around the Lions a heck of a lot. Very smart man, very, very intelligent and whatnot. It's pathetic, okay? That you got all these all-stars there, and yet still you have absolutely nothing to go on the field. And the Ford family right now, they've showed the general public, all they care about is making a bunch of money and putting a lot of hip parades in public relations there. And when it comes down to the final product and getting into a stadium that they're probably still paying for, that we have, offered to, they're giving us absolutely nothing there, and that has to change. So it's a good thing that Chris Billman's there. It's a bad thing that Chris Billman doesn't take on the general manager's role and get some pointers from his brother, Rick, okay? who deals with the Vikings there in order to put this team together. But that's not his choice, nor he said he wanted to be his choice at this present time. He says he's not ready, but I think he's more than ready there. He knows what it is to deal with this club there. If he didn't, he wouldn't have quit a very good job at Fox Sports in order to take on this particular project. Again, the Fords got a lot of money, and they never told us how much they're paying Chris Spielman to do this. So, again, that might have something to do to it as well there. But, again, when all the pieces get fitted in there, we'll find out what's going on.
Were you surprised that Stafford played yesterday, Butch?
Everyone was.
Yeah.
Okay?
Made no sense.
My point is yes, this is your franchise. This is your player that you depended on for so many years, paid all this money to. Why would you put him out there to get his brains beat out there, physically and otherwise? That's just poor management, okay? Or I should say negligence. If I was a lawyer, I would definitely ask him to sue him. But,
I like it.
That's just poor, okay? Why would you do that, okay? The game means absolutely nothing, okay, as far as standings is concerned. You're a diamond player, which got 2 more years on his contract, and you put him out there for the slaughter, okay? That just doesn't make any sense. And they have done other players like that way as well. Frank Ragnar, as much as I respect him, he should not have been out there to play any football, And I know he went through a lot the last 2 weeks as we did a piece with him last week, and he explained about his throat and all. That's something that I wish would never come on anybody there. A busted throat, okay, where you can't talk for 2 weeks and say absolutely nothing. Where's the brains in this operation here? It's just not happening, Scott.
Butch, one good news note from the Detroit Lions. Matt Prater won a challenge with the Denver kicker Brandon McManus on who would kick the longest field goal of the season. Prater made a 59-yarder to beat Washington, earning the city of Detroit free beer. I don't know the details on how each person is going to be getting that beer, but Butch, did you sign up for that?
I didn't sign up for it, but I'm looking for my liquor here. Whenever they pass it out, and I'm quite sure something got to come from that. Their light beer from Miller is the company right now who's going to cater that there. They made that particular bet with, or Coors. Okay, so right now, light beer from Miller will be probably coming to Michigan in order to satisfy the thirst of a lot of Lions fans.
Yes.
Now, when it's going to happen, no one has given any details yet. And by the way, while I'm giving details, on Tuesday morning at 8:30, President and CEO Ron Woods were going to be available on Zoom. So hopefully we'll get the official notice of what's going to be going on with the Detroit Lions there.
Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions have driven a lot of fans towards alcoholism, Butch, over the years.
They have done that for many years here now. Right now, the AA places are crowded.
You got that right. Butch, we're going to take our top of the hour break real quick. When you and I come back, we had a lot more to talk about in the world of Detroit sports. The Wings set to start their season next week. The Pistons struggling so far this season. We'll talk about that and more, all coming up with Butch Davis on the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show, The Game, ESPN 1400.
Boss has your back when the weather turns white, in light of day and dark of night, when winter shuts down work and schools. Come with resolve and powerful tools. Endure through every push, salt, and stack until your streets are back to black.
Gaylor Thompson Sales and Service, your boss dealer, just off exit 373, Rudyard, Michigan.
While our dining room is closed, the Wicked Sister is still open for delivery and carryout. You can still order any of our crave-worthy burgers and construction dip, but now you can also order any of our beer, wine, and signature cocktails to go. Call 906-259-1086 or visit our website, wickedsistersoo.com, to order. The Wicked's phone number again, 906-259-1086.
Fernelius Hyundai, proving why they are the ones to trust for your next vehicle, bringing home 3 Best of the EUP awards, winning the Best Service Department, Best Used Cars, and Best Salesperson with Sally Van Leuven. If you are thinking of getting a new or used vehicle, stop up and see the trusted staff of Fernelius Hyundai today at 2988 Ashman Street, where all social distancing and safety precautions are being observed. Or shop from the safety of your home by going to their website, and in 4 easy steps, you can purchase your next vehicle from Fernelius Hyundai. Just go to FerneliusHyundai.com. That's FerneliusHyundai.com. Fernelius Hyundai, earning the trust of the EUP, one sale at a time.
MNC Water Systems has a solution for all your water needs. Want clean, fresh drinking water? MNC Water Systems proudly distributes Norway Springs artesian water, bottled right here in the Upper Peninsula. Cooler rental and bottled water delivery for your home and office are available. MNC Water Systems is offering contactless delivery right to your door, as well as curbside pickup. Call Mo at MNC Water Systems today at 906-647-7307, serving the Eastern UP for over 25 years.
Let's get to the second half of the game here on ESPN 1400, WKNW, Sault Ste. Marie's sports leader. It's the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Now, here's Scott Nason.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400. You can also hear our show online at thegamesportshow.com and thegamesportshow.podbean.com. Scott Nason with you as we are continue to be joined by Butch Davis from Butch On Sports. We'll be with you up until 8 o'clock. And then we'll go to Milwaukee for Detroit Pistons basketball as the Pistons taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. And Butch, that's where I wanted to start with the Detroit Pistons, getting their first win over the weekend on Friday over Boston, and then falling to the Celtics yesterday, 122-120. Pistons just with the one win, 1-5 this season. They're going to be shorthanded tonight. No Blake Griffin, no Josh Jackson. One injury, one load management, I guess is what you call it. What have you seen from the Pistons so far? What stood out? And just give us an update.
Is that a joke?
It's a little humorous.
It's too humorous here, man. I've seen absolutely nothing. I've seen a first-round draft pick, Caleb McCaig, showed absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
And I don't know if it was a minor league or is it a hole that you could dig in your backyard or something there. But, you know, this kid is not performing at all. Something is not right as far as that. You know, if Brother Troy, who made the draft pick, got this kid here and giving up absolutely nothing, then there's something wrong with him. And then again, you know, we go through the same motion again here. Why are we bringing in people who basically, right now, we got people, and especially the Pistons, that is, that so many veterans who visit that place there. We're talking about the Little Caesars Arena that I see on a regular basis. Why was not one of those particular individuals given the point of being a general manager to really understand the Piston culture there? But again, you got what you got. I don't think the general public or anybody in the state of Michigan is going to go be so patient in dealing with the Pistons this year when it comes down to their losing ways there. It's just not going to happen. I see that coach, if things don't get better by the middle of the year, I see him out in the street, okay? Because, again, what I'm seeing right now versus what should be happening there is beyond repair. And then speaking of Blake Griffin, I've seen nothing out of him this year either there. He's looked a total mess there. He shows flashes, but again, him being 110% healthy, I have not seen that there from him. Derrick Rose, I see wows and splatters of him, but again, he's not the emphasis of what this team is going to be all about there. And, you know, it's pathetic. Now, some of the defense they played there and keep games close and keep them in there, you know, I can't down the players there, but again, some of the coaching moves and bringing in certain players during a prime time of the game where you know you got to be at your right frame of mind and putting your best players on the court. Those decisions has not been very tactful for Steve Mahalik to be just put in the lineup at the job he did the other night.
Yeah.
And you're saying that this guy, he's a bench warmer here. Just something's not right there. And again, I don't see this coach going any farther with this Pistons team at least half the semester if he don't get it right with these players and get them motivated in a proper sense where you can see something coming out of this here.
From what I've seen from the Pistons, Butch, I would agree with what you just said there. I think the big bright spots for them, I think Jaylen Brown has been a nice addition. He's been averaging 16 points before his injury. And I liked what I've seen out of Sadiq Bey, one of the other draft picks. He's been okay, but, other than that, you mentioned Killian Hayes. I understand that, he didn't get the training camp that many rookies normally get, but boy, there's some serious questions with him right now. I agree.
That's no excuse, okay? When you got a high draft, where the draft pick was number 7.
Yeah.
In the country?
Yep.
Come on.
I
That's
agree.
a joke here. Come on. Somebody, was sitting on the toilet and got the paper here or something. There's something amused them that they didn't get it right. But again, hopefully this kid kind of wakes up and give the general public what we think he can give the team, because right now he's given absolutely nothing there.
Let's move on to the Detroit Red Wings, Butch. They've opened up training camp at Little Caesars Arena this past weekend. They will open up play next Thursday at home against Carolina, playing in the Central Division, a 56-game schedule. We'll have the games over on our sister station, 1230 WSOO. I know the Wings have had a lot of Zoom meetings and press conferences. Butch, what can you tell us about how training camp has gone so far?
I guess you don't get to see them too much. You get to see some B-rolls and whatnot of what camp is going on right now. But, as far as the press being invited to the training camps there, to my knowledge, there's no press been invited other than the Zoom meetings and whatnot there. So there's really nothing I can tell you what's going on from the internal there. Probably the biggest day is when they cut everyone, or because they got 40 players in the camp there, who they're going to keep and who they're going to kind of relegate to maybe the Europe or maybe to the Ontario League if and when it starts.
Yeah.
It's not going, and that don't look too doggone promising right now. So you got a lot of players right now who basically, hopefully they're hungry, because I don't think Steve Eisman's going to take it too much. I think he got some very talented players who are ready to fill their raw oats and get in there and play some rough hockey there and make the city proud. But again, you don't really know what's going on and how this thing is going to set up. So I guess the patience has to come in and find out what's the actual starting lineups or the actual rosters going to be for the team in order for them to endure. One thing for sure, you're going to play one set of teams the whole season, and no more, no less. So that ought to be something very strange to deal with there.
Yeah, and there's some pretty good teams in that division, Butch, including the defending champ Tampa Bay, Florida, Dallas, Columbus, Chicago, Nashville. I mean, not a whole lot of easy outs in that division.
No, not at all. I tell you, if the Red Wings think this is a pushover, it's not. It's a temporary fix of them being in the division they're in there. But again, when the crap hit the fan, they're going to have to come out there really strong there, because again, we know that everything is not set in scroll as far as covert issues there is not set in scroll, or if this season's going to be interrupted. It's a lot of things, missing parts right now and pieces going in. And also I mentioned, which was the big hang-up before they got to camp maybe so late, was the Piston deal there and how that place is going to be relegated, because as of now they're using both arenas there. As the Pistons are out of town, they now can set up the arena, the ice up on the main floor, and still have the basement floor for other doggone workouts as well. So the players will be a lot more spread it out there as far as ice time is concerned, with the extra auxiliary coaches they have there to make hopefully better decisions on who they're going to keep on the team.
Butch Davis joining us on the game from Metro Detroit. Butch, 6 weeks until spring training. The Detroit Tigers and really most of baseball been kind of quiet as far as free agent signings. Over the break, they did sign the Tigers a one-year deal to right-handed pitcher Jose Urena, a $3.25 million deal with the Detroit Tigers. But really, that's about it as far as things I've seen on the Tigers the last couple weeks. Pretty quiet on the Tiger front.
It's turned quiet in Major League Baseball because really we don't know when spring training is going to actually start. That has been the big question for, me as a media person there because, again, we have not gotten a definitive date on that particular. Some say February 13th. Some say a little bit in March when it's going to start there. So we really don't know. The best thing and parameter I have right now is some of the players who are able to go down in Dominican and other parts of South America there to play baseball and, just keeping intact and keeping shape. And we're getting reports on that through Carlos Guillen, Tuve there.
Right.
But again, other than that, we're getting absolutely nothing from the other players that they have to find places to kind of do their thing and, get some reps in or whatever they have to do to get themselves in shape. So whenever this starts off and when it's happening, they'll be in pretty good doggone shape to do it. We may be surprised again, and it might be in the town that they are residing in for Detroit. There may not be no Florida ball there, but we'll find out. Wait and see kind of method on how this is going to jump off here.
Butch, we talked earlier about the high school sports season resuming, we think, this weekend as high school football playoffs will resume, as well as volleyball and swimming and diving next week. Our good friend Mark Ewell took some lumps over the past couple weeks, due to, having one set of standards and then the Department of Health saying you got to do this and they've had to change some things up. But it looks like we're going to see high school football here this weekend, I think.
Well, we put them to the pedal to the metal we had on the show a couple of weeks ago in regards to that there, because again, we knew it wasn't going to be no party when it come down to setting things up for this particular season. But again, this is a new normal here.
Yep.
And we're going to see how really this flies very much so there with the football players staying protected. I'm quite sure a lot of football they're playing, doing a lot of practicing, not outside. And that's where many of the standards of the health departments would like the football players to be practicing at there rather than do anything in a gym or somewhere where basically you're not only putting the risk of the players, but you're putting the risk of the student body there because once you practice, you got to clean the doggone place out, and it's got to be 100% because if you're using the gym for just your regular activities during the day, Monday through Friday, and then you're using that same facility to practice, it's not going to be too doggone kosher there. So I'm quite sure a lot of separation with the bigger clubs has to happen, but we'll see this Friday if there's going to be football or there's going to be a slow up or the governor's going to come in and say, oh, wait a minute, the health department do it as well.
Yeah.
I don't envy Mark at all and what decisions that has to be made in order to get the season done. But this is going to be a rough one there, but we'll see what happens.
And another challenge once winter sports season begins, Butch, is it looks like competitions can begin at the earliest if all things go well on January 23rd. And, for example, the Michigan High School Athletic Association championships, those dates haven't moved. They're still in March. So you're looking at a 5-week season where many of these teams are going to try to play as many games as they can. And we talked about this a few weeks ago with Pat Bennett, head coach of the Sioux High Blue Devil girls basketball team, who joined us on the roundtable a few weeks ago talking about just being able to find referees. They're at a shortage up here big time. That's another challenge. And then just the health and safety aspects of, a lot of these kids haven't done anything for a while. They have a week of practice and there's, going to be playing games. There's lots of challenges and potential pitfalls ahead.
Yeah, and also volunteers who deal
right.
with maybe the football club, who feed maybe the pregame meals. A lot of the teams have that particular setup or arrangements with the parents and whatnot. You also got to deal with those same parents or some volunteers in order to keep separation of the players, just socially little things, making sure they have masks on their face, making sure they're obeying all the rules, making sure they're dealing with separation in the practices and whatnot. This is going to be a jam up, second to none. Then you guys will also look at if they're going to be playing any outdoor football, and maybe one of these snowstorms coming through there and just blowing everybody away. I don't envy Mark at all there. So again, we're going to see how this is going to come to terms there. We have not had, at least in Lower Michigan, a major snowstorm as of yet. But I know, and it's happened up in the Upper Peninsula there, so they're a little bit more prepared in dealing with this. No one wants to play in the snow, I guess, but again, a little bit more prepared than the people in the Lower Peninsula if that happens.
Butch, before we go to break, we'll be joined by E.J. Russell for the roundtable coming up here in a few minutes. Normally I ask this at the end of the show, but I'm going to ask it right now. What's in store for Butch On Sports this week? I've certainly missed it over the break. What do you got going on this week?
I didn't, but yes, I did. Yes, I did. We're back on tap on Wednesday there to give you some. I probably got a lot to discuss there through the time we've been off the air. Took a little break here to kind of get the old vocal cords and old health.
Oh, and Butch left us. He was just going to talk about Butch On Sports. We'll have to get to him in a moment. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more regional and national sports for our roundtable, all coming up on the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show, The Game, ESPN 1400.
O'Connor's Chrysler Dodge Truck and Jeep in Pickford is your full-service dealership, servicing Pickford and the surrounding areas with pride for more than 50 years. O'Connor's top-notch body shop includes a state-of-the-art frame straightener. O'Connor's is also a proud supporter of community events. Its sales team has the experience to know which model is right for each customer. And with financing available to back your purchase, you can drive away today in your dream vehicle. Local people, local pride. Stop in today on M129 at O'Connor.
Buffalo Wild Wings wants to help you get through the work week. And Tuesdays and Thursdays might just be the worst days. That's why they've created Wing Tuesdays and Boneless Thursdays with a buy one, get one free offer. Let's crush this week together with Wing Tuesdays and Boneless Thursdays at the Sault Ste. Marie Buffalo Wild Wings.
When you're looking to score great pizza, make your play with your favorite hometown team at Guido's. Well known for their pizza, someone once said,
"You can't live on just pizza."
Something they may not agree with at Guido's. You'll also love their pasta, salads, breads, and of course, their Guido-tizers. Make a power play and order online at GuidosPizzaSoo.com. And while you're there, look for their college student special coupon and save 15% on one regularly priced menu item. Guido's Pizza, 2673 Ashman. Call 906-635-0066.
When you shop locally, you're helping the local economy. It's the same when you're a member of the credit union. We reinvest your money right here in town, so your investment becomes your neighbor's loan. You could say that around here, we know the neighborhood. Soo Co-op Credit Union, your credit union, federally insured by NCUA. Visit us online at SooCoop.com.
Everybody knows that H&R Block is the premier tax preparation group in the nation. But did you know that H&R Block offers year-round bookkeeping and business services that will help your small business cut costs, make profits, and streamline the business end of operations? From payroll and bookkeeping to expert tax prep and advice. See the friendly folks at H&R Block on I-75 Business Spur in the Michigan Soo. Call 635-5970. Put H&R Block to work on your small business. You'll be glad you did. H&R Block wishes the Hockey Lakers success.
Is it time to install new windows, doors, or paneling? Perhaps you're finally going to build that new deck or addition you've been talking about, or repair the roof. Stop at Soo Builder Supply. You'll find helpful advice and quality materials that will make every job easier. Whether you're ready to paint, insulate, install new windows, or kitchen cabinets, the team at Soo Builder Supply will make the task less daunting by coaching you with great how-to tips. When there's a building or remodeling project in store, make your first stop Soo Builder Supply. You'll receive the best building materials and hardware and great project advice every time. Soo Builder Supply, helping you make your building and remodeling projects a reality. On Johnston by the Bridge in Soo, Michigan.
You can catch podcasts of the game at thegamesportshow.com. Now let's get back to it with Scott Nason here on ESPN 1400.
7:19 on the game, ESPN at 1400. Scott Nason with you. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we'll be joining the Detroit Pistons broadcast as the Pistons take on the Milwaukee Bucks. We're continuing to be joined by Butch Davis from Butch On Sports, and joining the roundtable, host of the Hot Seat in Escanaba, Michigan, and co-host of this show here on ESPN 1400, EJ Russell, joining us on the game. EJ, how you doing tonight, sir, and Happy New Year.
Yo, Happy New Year to you boys as well. Happy to be here as always. This is like the ultimate super awesome Ultra Victory Monday for me, so I'm in a fantastic mood.
I'm sure you are, EJ, and let's start there with the first topic. EJ, we'll give you the first topic. What would you like to talk about tonight?
Well, I would like to take 2 seconds to talk about my number 11th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes finding a way to beat the Clemson Tigers in a rematch of last year's college football playoff semifinal. Finally, the Buckeyes getting some much-needed win over Clemson. Alabama finding a way to put Notre Dame away.
Roll Tide.
Ohio State, Alabama. Yeah, I knew that was coming. We got Ohio State versus Alabama for the national championship. So my two questions for you guys is who's winning the game? And do you think Ohio State should be there?
Butch, we'll go to you first.
You don't want to hear me here on this one here. Again, I didn't watch any of the games here. I really didn't. I got the scores after the 11 o'clock news there, or close to it there, and that's when I heard Ohio State was beating the crap out of Clemson. The game had not been finalized as of yet. I really don't care. I really don't care because this has been what you call a rotten season there. And again, I'm one of them advocates that this playoff system they got is just totally washed up here, and it's got to find a lot more better legitimacy than what it is. But if you really want to know, we're in the Big Ten, so we're going to go with Ohio State on the win there.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm going to differ on that one, Butch. Certainly Ohio State proved that they should be there, despite, not playing a whole lot of games and being ranked 11th by Dabo Swinney. I thought it was pretty sweet justice for Ohio State. And what Ohio State showed is how they can play, and they certainly played well. Justin Fields with the 6 touchdowns, exposing a weekend to Clemson's secondary. And they're going to need all the weapons to take on Alabama. Alabama, they've been consistent all year long. I mean, you look at that offense and, Devonta Smith just, winning the AP College Football Player of the Year, the first wide receiver to be named that. And you just look at what this team can do. Mac Jones, a solid quarterback. I would certainly entertain thoughts to draft him if I was the Detroit Lions. Draft any quarterback, but that's beside the point. This is a pretty sexy matchup, in my opinion, EJ. Obviously, Alabama, Ohio State, they have a lot of history. Ohio State has won 931 games in their history. Alabama, 928. Crimson Tide have 15 national championships. The Buckeyes have 8. That was not off the top of my head for those that are scoring at home. I like Alabama in this game, EJ. I just think that they have too many offensive weapons, but certainly Ohio State did prove that they should be there, and I will certainly next Monday night after the show be rolling Tide. Roll Tide, roll.
Well, I mean, Alabama probably has what looks like one of the most scary offenses. Scott, you kind of beat me to the punch there with that wide receiver winning player of the year. I think he's going to be the first guy that we see to not play either the running back or quarterback position since the year 2000 to win the award for the Heisman Trophy. I do believe that he is going to win this year. I think it's 3 running backs since 2000 have won the Heisman Trophy. All others were quarterbacks. And I believe the 3 are Reggie Bush, Mark Ingram, and Derrick Henry, the only 3 players that didn't play quarterback since 2000 to win the award. So this will be really cool. I think this will be the first wide receiver to win the Heisman since Desmond Howard at Michigan, I want to say.
Could be
so
correct.
That'd be cool just to kind of mix up the Heisman there. But Alabama's got a scary team. They're led by one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the history of college football. But I think that Dabo Swinney did light a fire under the Buckeyes. They came out swinging hard against the Clemson Tigers and really kind of put them away and quieted some of the doubters and showing that we are one of the best 4 teams in the country. We were not the 11th best team in the country. So I think that some of the advantage that Ohio State may have in this game is because they haven't played 11, 12 games like Alabama has. They might be a little bit better rested coming into the national championship game. So I'll take my Buckeyes, Scott. I'm sure you'll be taking the Crimson Tide, but I'm not going to take them by a lot. I'd be taking them straight up here.
Very good. Butch Davis, let's go to the next topic. The floor is yours. What would you like to talk about tonight?
I don't know. I really don't know here. Let's look at the NFL and their wild card playoff extravaganza this weekend.
Yes, indeed. The schedule is out. The Saturday games, the Indianapolis Colts, the 7th seed in the AFC, they're going to travel to Buffalo to take on the Red Hot Bills at 1 o'clock on Saturday. The 4:40 game, the Rams, who needed a win to get in, they did. They're going to go to Seattle again to take on the Seahawks, who are the number 3 seed in the NFC. Tampa Bay, the 5 seed in the NFC, going to be a pretty heavy favorite against the NFC East winner, the Washington Redskins. I'm going to get more to that in my topic. That's the 8:15 game, Sunday games. The Baltimore Ravens favored over the hometown Tennessee Titans. Titans just squeaking by Houston to clinch the division. The Bears, despite the loss, getting in. They're the 7th seed in the NFC. They'll take on the Saints. And then I know, EJ, you're going to talk a lot about this one. The Browns, with the big win yesterday, they will travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The first thing I'm going to say, Butch, is I love the new format of having 3 games in one day and 2 games with 3 games, or 2 days with 3 games on a weekend, 6 playoff games next weekend. That's outstanding. Looking at these matchups, I wouldn't want to play the Buffalo Bills right now. They're playing some incredible football. I would expect them to easily dispose of the Indianapolis Colts. Rams Seahawks, I'm not quite sure on that one. The Seahawks, they haven't impressed me a whole lot as of late. The Rams, obviously, Jared Goff's status is still in question, but the Wolford played pretty well in that victory over Arizona. I still like the Seahawks because they're at home. Tampa Bay over Washington. I don't see how Washington wins this game. I think Tampa Bay has too many weapons. I think the best game of the day on Sunday, well, there's 2 good ones. The Ravens-Titans, that one, I wouldn't want to play the Ravens right now. That Tennessee defense is stretched and they're allowing a lot of yards. And you look at Baltimore and that offense getting rolling. They're getting a good running game with J.K. Dobbins. I like the Ravens in that one. Saints over the Bears easily, I think. And then the Browns and the Steelers. That is a tough one. Certainly a place that the Browns have not played well at Heinz Field. I almost called it Three Rivers Stadium there, going in my Wayback Machine. But you know what? Just because I want to put EJ in a good mood, I'm going to take the Browns in a slight upset. I don't think it's a big upset because I think the Browns and Steelers are very evenly matched. So I'm just because they haven't been to the playoffs in 2002 and they experience a lot of the same pain that the Lions fans do, I'm going to take Cleveland in that one. EJ, wild card weekend, your thoughts?
Well, I'll say this, and I'm going to briefly touch on the Browns, okay, because this is the Browns' first playoff appearance since 2002, Scott, as you just pointed out. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, you may or may not remember this. Do you remember who the Browns played in the 2002 playoffs?
No idea.
They matched up against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round, and guess who won that game?
Pittsburgh.
You're darn right, because we ain't done much since 2000. So, yes, Pittsburgh won that game in what was a rematch of a division rivalry in the playoffs, which is always a lot of fun to do. I just don't know that. Excuse me, unless the Browns rush you got to get over 100 from Nick Chubb. You got to have Baker with 1 interception, 1 turnover or less, and Kareem Hunt's got to be phenomenal in the passing game. I just don't know that our defense is good enough to stop Pittsburgh on their best day. So I think Pittsburgh finds a way to win that game, playing spoiler to what is an amazing season for the Browns. I think Kevin Stefanski should be, coach of the year. If not the Dolphins coach, what's his name right now? It's slipping my mind.
Flores?
Oh man. Yes. Thank you. He's a candidate for coach of the year as well, but the matchup that intrigues me the most is certainly the Rams Seahawks, just because that was real tight out west anyways. But Scott, and I think I might steal a little bit of your thunder. Comeback player of the year has to be Alex Smith for taking the Washington football team to the playoffs, despite having a losing record. That's incredible. The fact that he even stepped back on the field is amazing. And not only that, he's taken his team to the playoffs. I mean, just unbelievable to see what he's done since coming back into the league. The Tampa matchup, I couldn't care that much about because I think they're going to beat Washington. The one team that's in there that I guess bothers me, though, has got to be the Bears. I mean, at least Washington won their division, but just felt like the Bears are not a playoff team this year. I mean, good on you for getting in. That's half the battle. Once you make the dance, anything can happen. I think the Giants proved that getting in as a wild card, and both of the times they won their Super Bowls against the New England Patriots. So anything can happen once you get to the dance, but the best matchup of the weekend is probably going to be that Rams-Seahawks matchup.
Butch, is going to be a wild card weekend. Your thoughts on your topic?
Well, this is going to be kind of a wacky weekend there. I kind of like the way they got this set up there. That's why I can't stand right now the college football kind of setup, because pro footballs could do it and the other divisions could do it. Why can't Division I and football get their stuff straight? But what do I know, huh? Indianapolis and Buffalo, that's going to be a good one. I'll take Buffalo. I'll take Indianapolis there, although that's going to be close. Seattle and the Rams, of course, I'm going with Seattle, of course, on that particular one there. No offense to the Rams. Tampa Bay and Washington. Who would have think, by golly, that a team of Washington stature will have a home field advantage because they're division winners there with the record they got. They'll host Tampa Bay. Now, hopefully they don't sneak no people in there to see Washington play, because it might be tough for Tampa Bay. But again, Tampa Bay is probably going to be favorite to win in that game. On Sunday, it's kind of very interesting there. They got stations like, for instance, at the 1 o'clock game, ESPN, ABC, Deportes, and also Freeform.
Wow, Freeform.
Play on Freeform.
Wow.
For football there. I don't know what the deal is on that there. Now, the 4 o'clock, 4:40 game is going to be CBS, Nickelodeon, Amazon Prime, and all access for that particular
Nickelodeon?
Game. What? Yes, Nickelodeon
picked up a game.
Wow.
The poor kids, they're trying to scramble their brains here. I don't know what's going on with that one as well there, but those are the places you can watch the game. And, of course, the 8:15 game, of course, on NBC, Telemundo, and the Peacock station will have this particular game along with NBC Sports. They're giving a lot of access to football games in general, which is pretty doggone good compared to what they're trying to reach our audience in. I'm quite sure that's probably their plans in doing some of this stuff there. But we'll wait and see on the weekend there. This is going to be pretty doggone good there. Football all day long, all night long. And if you got to go work on Monday, you're going to be crap out of luck.
Exactly. We're going to take a break here on the game. We come back. I'm going to throw out a topic NFL related. To tank or not to tank? That is the question. Coming up next on the game here on ESPN 1400.
Quick as a wink, Christmas is over, and the after Christmas sale is on at Das Gift House. Save 50% off most Christmas decorations, night lights, snow globes, silver angels, solar garden items, Lions football, selected Wonder Woman and Batman travel mugs, and winter scarves. Save 25% off Jim Shore snowmen and angels, and save 25% off all Minnetonka moccasins, slippers, and leather wallets and purses. Like sales? Get the Das Gift House Shopper Rewards card and save all year. Assorted religious items and First Communion gifts are 25 to 50% off. The After Christmas Sale, now in progress at Das Gift House. Open 9:30 a.m. until 6:01 p.m. 7 days a week. Closed New Year's Day. Das Gift House in the Soo, at the corner of West Portage Avenue and Osborne Boulevard, across from the Soo Locks. Visit our sister store, Shirts and Things, right next door for great sales as well. Visit Das Gift House online and follow on Facebook.
If you're looking for friendly, competent, caring insurance service for your home, auto, business, or farm in the Eastern Upper Peninsula, see the folks at Don Wilson Insurance at 110 Dawson Street in the Soo today. Don Wilson Insurance has worked with Fremont Insurance of Michigan for the past 20 years, and Fremont's been providing the finest coverage in the state of Michigan since 1876. For competitive rates on all your insurables, see the friendly staff at Don Wilson Insurance and Fremont, serving the EUP since 1999. Don Wilson Insurance and Fremont, big fans of Lake Superior State University and the Lakers.
Let's get back to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Let's get back to the game on ESPN 1400.
7:34 on the game, ESPN 1400. Scott Nason with you. We'll continue to be joined by Butch Davis and E.J. Russell for tonight's edition of the Roundtable. Don't forget, at 8 o'clock, we'll have Detroit Pistons basketball as the Pistons will be taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. Gentlemen, let's keep it in the NFL, and I alluded to it before the break. To tank or not to tank? That is the question. We see it at the end of NFL seasons because unlike some other leagues, the NBA and the NHL, they don't have a draft lottery. So teams many times are jockeying for position to get a better draft pick. And we saw several instances of that yesterday. You know, the Detroit Lions, they put out an effort playing Matt Stafford and playing a very spirited game when, in my opinion, as a Detroit Lions fan, they had no reason to because they could have picked 12th. Now they picked 7th. We saw other teams like Pittsburgh rest some of their starters, Kansas City among others. And then we saw last night Philadelphia, and that's kind of been one of the big stories today as far as what head coach Doug Peterson had his team do or not do. I mean, they didn't rest all their starters, but they took out their starting quarterback Jalen Hurts, and to me, it looked like they might have tanked that game, helping out the Washington Football Club. I know the New York Giants weren't very happy about that, but the Giants shouldn't have been in that position anyway. When you're depending on another opponent to beat a team to get in the playoffs, then you haven't done your job. So the question I have to you, we'll start with EJ and then go to you, Butch, is tanking at the end of the season. Are you all right with that?
Ooh, yes and no. A couple of weeks ago, the Jets winning that game, I think I said it kind of restored my faith in football and the fact that players want to win. I think that they should always be trying to win, but I certainly understand, losing a game to advance yourself in the draft. I mean, this is not a one and done league. Okay, you got to come in and out every year and be ready to go. So I don't know if I necessarily had an issue with an organization tanking. I think blatantly throwing a game partway through that's kind of classless. If you're going to play the game, you play the game. If you're going to tank the game, tank the game. If you're going to play, then get your best players out there and play. We have no issues when teams that lock up playoff spots rest starters so that they're ready for the playoffs, but yet we have issue with the team bettering themselves for the draft. I'm kind of mixed on tanking. I understand that I'll say this. I understand it's a necessary evil. I think as a player, I would have a hard time not trying to go out there and win. I believe that the players are trying to win. I just believe that the organizations are not giving the teams the pieces to be able to accomplish those goals.
Butch, we see a lot of the scenario I just described with the Detroit Lions. Many times they don't tank games and win games that they shouldn't and get worse draft picks. I'll pose that same question to you. To tank or not to tank? How do you feel?
Yeah, come on, yeah. You got Matthew Stafford going out there looking like the Spirit of 76, okay?
Spirit of 76.
The other player who got his throat cut or whatever it may be, he's out there playing.
Yeah.
Frank Brown, no, I'm not for the tanking, okay? I'm just so sorry with it there. So that's why Gabe got his behind fire from the Jets. then you know what? He'll find a better team to go to and coach there. But you know what? I don't believe any player will want to go out there and do poorly unless they're on the gambling take there. And then, yet again, that's another day, another story. And don't be surprised if that's not happening there because the stuff has not hit the fan as of yet. But again, I can't see that being squeaky clean when gambling is part of the everyday life of sports there. But you can't take you shouldn't take no games there. And the owners and also the media who's in up there advocating that certain people or certain teams should tank. And I know it goes around in here too as well. The low pea-brain mind people there and doing something like that. It's just totally unethical to me. So no, I ain't with the tanking.
You know, I'm kind of where EJ is. I can see some benefits of it. I can see some benefits against it. What I just couldn't.
What's the benefit?
Well, what I couldn't believe, getting a better draft pick would be, and your future.
Like Tua?
Well, or get a quarterback like Tua. But what I really can't understand is what the Detroit Lions did in a meaningless game, put out a quarterback that's your boy, that's your franchise, that has a bum, knee, foot, thumb, back, ribs. I mean, all of the above. And you put him out there in a game that he shouldn't be out there. So I don't agree with that. But as far as, Philadelphia, for example, they're taking a lot of heat today from people that are saying, well, they gave the Washington football team the championship. Well, guess what? They also got the 6th pick. And so it worked to their advantage. Doug Peterson said he wanted to get a look at the 3rd string quarterback who's been there for years. I don't know if I buy that. So, I guess I'm okay with it in some ways and not okay with it in others. So I'm being pretty much contradicting myself live on air. EJ Russell, go ahead.
Let me ask you a quick question, Scott, because you're criticizing the Lions for Stafford going back out there. Do you not believe a little bit that some of that's got to be Matt Stafford? Because he's the kind of guy.
No, not at all.
But when Matt Stafford gets hurt, people always Matt Stafford his entire career when hurt continues to go back in a football game.
Well, you know what? Here I come to save the day. It's not working with me here, buddy.
I know, but I can see a scenario where Matt Stafford's like, no. Like, if this is going to be my last year in Detroit, no, I'm going out there and I'm playing. Like, I can.
Well, how would he know that?
But if this is last year playing, maybe he plans on retiring.
No.
Please.
Nothing has inscrolled that this is his last year. As far as I'm concerned right now, he's going to fulfill a 2-year contract.
And
they're not going to get rid of him.
Barry or Calvin, we're going to retire.
Huh? Well,
he doesn't announce. You said he's not announcing his retirement. Well, Calvin or Barry didn't really announce theirs. They just kind of done.
But they don't have to. He's got 2 more years in there. He's going to play football. He's going to dedicate that to Detroit Lions. Now, Detroit Lions decide they want to do something with him and trade him. They look like the big fools there. If you give the guy so much doggone money and you got nothing out of it, that's not all his fault. That's the scheme of the coaching staff. That's the scheme of the scouting staff and getting those players prepared for the game there. That's who I blame.
Yeah, and he shouldn't be out there, period. What more does he have to? Yeah, what more does he have to prove? And the thing with Matt Stafford is, yes, he's a good quarterback, but we've seen 12 years of what he does. In those type of games, he's fantastic. But in big games, not so much. Just look at the record book. EJ, we got time for one more topic before we go to the next break. The floor is yours, sir.
Ooh, this is a tough one because I was not prepared for 2 topics tonight.
Wing it.
All right, let's just do this. Okay, winging it. Favorite AFC, NFC team to come out of the playoffs here? Who's matching up in the Super Bowl?
All right, Butch. We talked wild card. Now we're looking a little further down the road. AFC champ, NFC champ. Your thoughts?
Kansas City's going to be there. Who's going to play them? I have no idea. But Kansas City's going to be there. It may be a little rough in the first round for Kansas City, being that they got that week bye.
Yeah.
Kansas City will be there for the NFC. It's hard not to look at Green Bay as the leading team right now. But again, Green Bay's defense is not as really extravagant as some other teams' defense is in there who's playing playoff game. And I think what in the NFC, that's what's going to reign supreme is the defense. So boy, you got me. NFC, I'm undecided. I know the AFC, I'm going to look at Kansas City and Baltimore.
Yeah, AFC, Butch, I see Kansas City coming out of there. Buffalo certainly is going to make some noise, I think, the way they're playing. You know, you mentioned Kansas City not playing this week. A lot of their starters didn't play this past week, so it could be 2 weeks, but I don't think that's going to matter with that team. I mean, until Patrick Mahomes has a stumble in a big game, I'm going to keep picking them. And so I like Kansas City in the AFC. NFC, a little maybe different or a little more clouded as far as who I think comes in. I think if New Orleans would have gotten that home field advantage with their running game, I would maybe favor the Saints a little bit over Green Bay, but the road will go through Green Bay, and the way Aaron Rodgers is playing, they're getting a running game. Defense, like Butch said, maybe not their strongest suit, but certainly I think they have enough weapons offensively. And Aaron Rodgers, you might as well just give him the MVP now because he deserved it. 48 touchdown passes this year, and the way Devontae Adams has played. I like them in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Kansas City, Green Bay, I know that's kind of a boring pick, but it certainly would make for a great Super Bowl. EJ, your thoughts?
I love Green Bay coming out of the NFC. I just think that they are the best football team. They're Aaron Rodgers MVP. Give it to him. He's having an okay year.
Yeah.
I really, really like what's going on in Buffalo, though. Yes, Kansas City is probably the best team in the AFC. However, it is very difficult to make 2 consecutive runs of winning Super Bowl. Not many teams have done it back-to-back. Not many teams get there every single year. It is a very difficult task to do, and you have to go up against an AFC with a ton of talent. What was the worst team in the AFC in the playoffs was 10-5 or 11-6? Like teams that were 10-5 missed the playoffs teams that were 10-6 missed the playoffs in the AFC. It's not like the NFC where an 8-8 and a losing team get in there. Okay, the AFC is a tough division, and I think that Buffalo having that home advantage until they line up against Kansas City. I don't think Kansas City's as good as home without their fans. I think that this is Buffalo's time. They've been good for a couple of years now. I think that they're going to return to the Super Bowl in a year where you see 2 cold weather teams, and I love it. So I'll go Bills-Packers for the Super Bowl.
Let's take our final break here on the game. We come back, we'll have time for one more topic, and then we'll get to our thumbs up and thumbs down for the week. All coming up on the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show, The Game, ESPN 1400.
Looking for a good pre-owned car, SUV, or truck to get you through the coming winter? See the great selection of used vehicles on the lot now at Soo Motors. More than 25 SUVs and 20 or more cars and trucks are available for the huge year-end savings program. Lots of Escapes priced to sell, Explorers, Edges, F-150s, and there are 9 sedans on the lot. If you want new wheels this winter, see the sales staff at Soo Motors today. Soo Motors on 3 Mile across from Walmart in the Michigan Soo.
Hi, this is Scott from Parker Ace Hardware. At Ace, we make painting a simple pleasure. Ask one of our friendly, knowledgeable Ace associates about our Ace Royal Paint, a high-quality paint at a price you'll love. You'll find Ace Royal Paint starting at an everyday low price of just $19.99 a gallon. It's another reason why, from a simple start to a fabulous finish, Parker Ace can help make your next painting project perfect. Parker Ace, the helpful place. Stop by Parker Ace Hardware. We're looking forward to serving you real soon.
Stop by Parker Ace Hardware at 819 Ashman, downtown Soo, Michigan.
I support our community, so I shop locally and work with other area businesses whenever I can. My credit union does too, so I became a member there. My credit union offers online bill pay, mobile banking, and e-statements. I get first-name friendly service along with faster, smarter banking. That's an unbeatable combination.
Soo Co-op Credit Union, your credit union, federally insured by NCUA. Visit us online at SooCoop.com.
Just because another mandate has come down from Lansing doesn't mean you still can't enjoy your favorite food and drinks from Soo Brewing Company. Open every day, offering carryout. During the present mandate, we're offering $2 off growler fills, so treat yourself to a Laker Gold, Maggie's Irish Red, or 13 IPA. Now on the corner of Ashman Street and Portage Avenue, your town, your beer, Soo Brewing Company.
You can catch podcasts of the game at thegamesportshow.com. Now let's get back to it with Scott Nason here on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400. You can also find our show online. We podcast the full 2-hour version at thegamesportshow.podbean.com. You can usually find that broadcast right around 8:30 here tonight. You can also find our shows at thegamesportshow.com as we're continuing to be joined by Butch Davis and E.J. Russell on the roundtable. Don't forget, we'll have Pistons basketball at the top of the hour as the Pistons take on the Milwaukee Bucks. But we still have more sports to talk about, and we'll go to Butch Davis for another topic on the roundtable. Butch, we've covered a lot. What's on your mind in the world of sports?
Well, I'll try to make this one. Let's see the NBA. And I've seen a lot of covert stuff in here with basketball. I'm looking at Coach K in quarantine after exposed to covert, and also Durant, who's been laid up for about a year and a half, but he's now sidelined with 2 covert protocol there. Should it get tougher or softer?
Yeah, good question, Butch. You mentioned it. Kevin Durant's going to miss 4 games as he was exposed, I believe, to COVID-19. Also, Villanova, one of the higher-ranked teams in college basketball, they have postponed 3 games due to COVID-19. Locally, I can attest to this with the Lake Superior State University Laker basketball team that is looking to resume. They have to test their athletes 6 times a week. And I imagine it's like that, I would assume, with the NBA, but we're still seeing, these pauses, cancellations, and such. It's a little different life for the NBA this year than when they went under their bubble, and certainly it's something that they're going to have to, try to navigate through. The NFL, while they did have some bumps and bruises along the road, knock on wood, they've been able to get in all their games. And, they've had some players that have been out, obviously, with Cleveland a couple weeks ago with their whole wide receiving core, hopping in the hot tub and getting some COVID. That didn't work out too well. But, I'm all in favor of strict regulations as far as, getting these games in. We're going to see the NHL start next week. Again, all different ball game for the NHL compared to last season because they're not in the bubble. So, if these outbreaks continue, they got to look at making stricter standards. Otherwise, we're going to see this thing, possibly spiral where you're looking at possibly having games or weeks of games even being canceled like we saw with Major League Baseball early on. So I'm all in favor of stricter standards to, try to get these games in and navigate through this pandemic. E.J. Russell, your thoughts?
I've been pretty kind of in the middle here. We wanted sports back. We knew that there was risk of players getting sick. Unless you're in a completely controlled bubble environment, this is going to happen, right? Just like in everyday life, people get the flu every year, right? Unfortunately, this is one of those things that if we're going to try to continue to live normal, non-bubble, restricted lives, people are going to get sick, and you do the best that you can with what you have to try to prevent people from getting it. But there are situations out there that are beyond your control. For example, somebody's got to get your groceries, So if you go to a grocery store and somebody else touched something, well, you don't know. You do your best to try to protect yourself. You do your best to try to protect others. But there's so many places where it could come in. Yes, they do a lot of this contact tracing and this and that. But if we want players on the courts, on the field, on the ice, whatever their venue may be, we need to understand that some of them are going to get sick. Now, the Kevin Durant thing is he may have been exposed to it, so he's quarantining for, 7-day period. Not a full quarantine, I suppose. But, I think that we're doing what we can with what we have to give the fans what they want, which is a product. Put players on the court, on the field, on the ice, and give us something to watch, because we all remember those 2 months where, EJ's waking up at 4:00 in the morning to watch Korean baseball. Yeah, I don't want to go back.
That's right.
I very much enjoyed the KBO, Samsung Lions, the Doosan Bears. I was a big fan of all those teams, but I don't want to go back to that. I like seeing the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs. I like seeing Ohio State compete for national championship. Michigan is going to be coming up here. Michigan State basketball. They've always been great programs. So I want to keep sports back, and the reality is, I think that we're doing as good of a job as we almost can to give the fans the product that they want, which is players playing.
Excuse me, AJ. Butch, great topic. Your thoughts before we go to our thumbs up and thumbs down?
Yeah, I'm going to make this short and sweet. No, I don't think everybody's doing their best there. When players are going in the strip joints, bars, cuckoo joints, or whatever you want to call it there, and we find that out, and some teams' results will show that, and some teams are very player friendly, where they're not going to tell you where they've been, but know some good and well the player done something wrong. No, I ain't going around with all that crap there. You know, this is a thing right now. People are, yes, they are going to get sick. Everything is not perfect in a non-perfect world. But again, when these things are happening there, the negligence is going on. A lot of it is on the particular individual itself of not being safe and not taking the protocol very, very seriously there. And we're finding it out that the players who don't take the protocol seriously there, those are the ones that are catching the culprits there. And the players who do take it seriously there, they're not getting hooked up with that there. And also teams as well who are stringent to go through the mastery of making sure the team and the players stay safe. So right now, it's like I said, we're looking at high school sports right now this week in Michigan and how that's going to flap out there. So, again, you know, hopefully things go very, very well because every school or every place of being are not following the rules the way the rules were lined it up for them to follow.
Well said, Butch. Let's get to our thumbs up and thumbs down for the week. I will start thumbs down for the 2020 season for the Detroit Lions. 5-11, most yards given up, second worst defense in NFL history. Goodbye and good riddance to 2020. Thumbs up, I'm going to give a little personal thumbs up to myself and my fantasy football teams, the Putin's PUPs, or Putin's Pups, as I like to call it, winning my first ever fantasy football title in 20 years of playing. Yes, it finally happened for me. It was long overdue. I want to thank my son Vance for co-GMing this season. Finished first in one league, runners up in another, and won the toilet bowl in the third. So, of course, it's all for fun. EJ Russell, your thumbs up and thumbs down for the week.
First thumbs up's going to sound kind of goofy, but thumbs up to John Elway for stepping away. He's going to hire a GM. He's not going to be in control of that roster. Like, he was the perfect person to have in there when you were courting Peyton Manning. Okay? Yeah. But he hasn't done a great job since. And I give him credit for ceding control and walking away. So thumbs up for that move. Thumbs down. Las Vegas running back Josh Jacobs arrested for DUI hours after they beat the Denver Broncos. His attorneys have said he's going to plead not guilty, and they're going to look against this. But regardless as to whether or not he is convicted of this offense, a bad job putting yourself in a situation like that, being such a good, young, talented running back. So thumbs down for making, I'll just say, poor decisions. Thumbs up to the Broncos moving in the right direction.
Butch Davis, your thumbs up and thumbs down for the week, sir.
Thumbs down to any team that pays Urban Meyers $12 million. You know, a year
for sitting there.
A year. Okay. I don't know if money's flying, but they did just knock on my door and give me a phone call. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'll coach. Thumbs up. Boy, I guess I got to say the NFL playoff scheme this weekend there, where we get to see all these games on national TV, you know, and also beyond that point, when they're giving football games at Nickelodeon and Freeform there, something's up here. But I applaud it there. They're making absolutely the availability for football to be seen. So there you go, my thumbs up.
Gentlemen, we got about 2 minutes left. I'll give you a minute each. EJ, what's up for the hot seat, which you can find at thegamesportshow.com this week?
Well, the hot seat will be recording Thursday, continuing to do so from the home studios here in Escanaba. Not quite sure what we're going to get into, but I'm positive that we'll get into playoff football, college basketball, NBA getting kicked off. So there'll be some good football and basketball coverage this week.
Butch, what's up for Butch on Sports this week? We got cut off a little bit on the last time we tried this. What's up for Butch on Sports?
Again, we'll deal with some high school stuff there, see how close the high schools are really playing this upcoming weekend, and also look at the winter schedule, see if that's going to be set up in Scrove. And also we'll go to the playoffs, and naturally we're going to talk about the Lions there, and hopefully they'll have some decisions made. Big press conference tomorrow morning at 8:30 with Ron Woods of the Detroit Lions there. So we'll find out what's going on that rocket there as well.
We'll look forward to that. Butch and EJ, gentlemen, I want to thank you both for joining us tonight, our first show of 2021, and we'll talk to you both next week.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the game. I want to thank all our guests, including Butch Davis and E.J. Russell, co-hosts, along with David McCaig Jr. and Mike Kaunisto from the Sioux Eagles. Again, if you want to hear the full 2-hour show of the game, you can find it on the website, thegamesportshow.com, or later on tonight, about a half hour at thegamesportshow.podbean.com. We're going to be joining the Pistons basketball broadcast already in progress coming up at the top of the hour as the Pistons take on the Milwaukee Bucks. That's going to do it for this edition of the game. We'll talk to you next Monday night for our next edition here on ESPN 1400.
Thanks for listening to the game here on ESPN 1400 WKNW, Sault Ste. Marie's sports leader. Check us out next Monday at 6 for the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. You can hear the podcast of the show and other broadcasts at thegamesportshow.com.